Welcome to the Women in Business radio show with Sian Murphy, connecting women in business around the globe.
Hello and welcome. I'm giggling already. I don't know, we haven't even started. I don't know what I'm giggling about. Welcome into the Women in Business radio show studio. I'm Sian Murphy. My co-host today is the wonderful Tim Baker from the FSB. Hi, say hi, Tim.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very, very well. We're going to have a really super show. And also in the studio we have Rachael Bryant, who is now the title. I'm a bit concerned. It's the Creative Disruptive Director of your video team. Welcome into the studio, Rachael.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Also in the studio, we have Ben Bryant, and Ben is the other half of your video team. But Ben is actually doing the videoing. So he can say hello. He'll have to shout a bit, and we will be able to hear him possibly down a microphone. I'll turn the microphone on for you, Ben. Okay, you can say hello into the pink microphone.
Hello.
There we go. But Ben has decided he's going to be doing videoing. So there could be some absolutely ghastly photos and things of me coming out. So potentially a lot better than we normally have.
This is where face for radio comes in.
It is. I have a radio face. I'm normally quite comfortable behind here, not being seen. So let me just tell you how you can listen to the show. I realise that you're listening to it live on Channel Radio. You can also listen in on 100.2. It's going well already, isn't it? FM. And we are also on Audible, we're on Spotify, we're on Substack, and we're on Apple iTunes. And you can also catch us on our main podcasting platform, which is Spreaker, which is where everything is loaded up onto. If you just go on and search for the Women in Business radio show, and you're going to see the red lips. So what are we going to be talking about today?
So much.
So much. We're just going to do a little bit of housekeeping in a moment, but we're actually going to be talking about videoing, which is probably not too much of a surprise, is it?
What? Oh, no, I'm not prepared.
We're going to be talking about videoing. We're going to go through a few things. We are firstly going to be talking about doing your own videos, and Rachael is going to be sharing 5 tips for using your mobile phone. Have you got 5 tips?
I have, yeah. They have been duly
they've been given to you, haven't they? Okay. We are also going to be talking about the different types of videos that you can do.
Absolutely.
And we're going to finish off with how, if you don't want to do your own videoing, if you want to get in a professional, is it a videographer?
That's the one, yeah, we're videographers, yeah.
Then how you actually go about choosing somebody, because it's a really important service, isn't it? For the content that you create, it's what represents you as your business. And I think it's one of those things that sometimes it's difficult to know if it's good or bad until it's actually done and it's out there, and then you can sort of see the difference. But when it's actually happening and you're in the middle of it and you're the customer and you're being videoed, I think it's really hard to actually know, okay, well, this is good or not.
Yeah, and it's about control as well. Like, everyone wants control of their business. You're about to kind of give an element of that to someone else. So
yes, and I'm doing that today. I've got this camera peering at me. But first of all, a little bit of housekeeping, because the guests that we have in the studio, and also Tim, as a representative of the FSB, are also key sponsors and supporters of the Women in Business the Women in Business Big Show 2023, which is on the 10th of August at Longfield Academy. So the FSB are sponsoring the event. So thank you so much, Tim. And Tim is going to be there, aren't you?
I am. It is a fantastic event. We have sponsored it for the past 3 years, this year included. And it's just incredibly successful for the FSB, and it's an incredibly successful event. So we're very happy to be there, and I'm looking forward to it. I've got it in my calendar, circled many times in red pen, so I don't forget. So we've had Tim at the event for quite some time now, and it's always really, really good fun to have him there. I'm practicing for the inevitable Instagram reel ambush that comes every year.
Yes, so
losing a bit of my dignity each year.
I tell you what, I got rid of mine. I got rid of mine ages ago. But also your video team, Rachael and Ben, are our official videographers, and they're going to be there on the day, and they're going to be capturing some of the fun and some of the atmosphere and what's going on.
Absolutely. So, well, we want this event to keep going for years and years to come. So let's highlight it, let's showcase it, and that's what we're going to do, is capture all of that so that we can next year we can advertise it and go, look what happened last year, but it's bigger and better this year, and just grow every year for you.
And it is really, really good fun, and we have some fantastic support. And what was I going to say? I totally forgot. It's going to be one of those days, isn't it? I can tell.
Well, let's let the listeners hear. When is it, Sian?
I said it's on the 10th of August.
Where?
Oh, I know what I was going to say. It's at Longfield Academy. It's at Longfield Academy, which is near Ebbsfleet. So it's not too far away from Bluewater, and an organised woman would have written down the postcode, wouldn't she? But I'm not an organised woman.
And there is free parking.
There is free parking.
And lots of it as well.
There's free parking, there's flat access, and it's also free for visitors. So if you're a visitor coming into the event, it's free for you.
Do they have to register?
No, they don't. It's handy if they can register, because it gives us an idea of the number of people that are coming and sort of what's going on. But you don't have to register. So if you get up in the morning and think, oh my goodness me, I forgot. Yep, just come along.
Right.
Just come along, and we've got organised networking, but we've also got just random networking. We've got a lovely cafe serving super, super coffee. I'm into my coffee, so we're serving really, I can't have crap. I've taken charge this year. We've got some really good coffee. We've got some really good stuff going on. It'll be a lovely, lovely day. I run out of stuff to say.
And the
now.
final note, if you're coming by train, it's a 10-minute walk from Longfield train station.
You see,
so it's completely accessible. There's no excuses.
You can see why Tim's co-hosting today, can't you? Somebody's got to take control. Yeah.
Taking back control.
I love the advice she gave me was make sure you write down things so you don't forget, and then you're sat there going, oh, I should have written that down. People are listening in. They're used to me not knowing what I'm doing, and that I can't see. I forget my name. I forget everybody else's name. It's sort of, I decided not to worry about it, actually. No, I decided that actually that's who I am. That's it, and just off we go. And every now and then I get it wrong. I mean, quite often I get it wrong, and that's just the way it is. So. I think we will start off with your story, Rachael. Okie doke.
So tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are and who you work with.
So we are your video team. I work with my wonderful husband, and I'm not just saying that because he stood behind me, obviously. And we started out many moons ago, over 10 years ago, with photography and videography in the wedding industry and the family side of things, and that escalated, and we did very well. And our delightful friend COVID came along, and kind of stopped that because we had to stop seeing people. And through a few contacts, we were given an incredible opportunity to actually film for Coca-Cola in Sidcup and their factory, of filming how the world was going to work with COVID and how their factory would work for COVID. So they had to send out a message to everybody in one strategic way that was coherent and consistent, and video was an ideal opportunity to film this, email it out to everyone, and send it out, and it allowed that message to be really concise and clear. And we thought about it a bit longer, and we said, actually, you know what, that's quite a good idea, maybe someone else needs that. So then we spoke to a cybersecurity company, and they said, yeah, we need to teach our team how to work from home now, because no one's done that before, so how can we do that? So did that, and then we thought about it a bit longer, and we said, what if there's actually a market in the corporate world for video? So we sat down around Ben's parents' dining table, and we rustled up this plan and rebranded as Your Video Team. And Ben launched the company, and he did it solo for a few years, and I supported from the background whilst becoming employed and getting a real job, and I did that for.
What do you mean? You mean this isn't real?
Exactly. There's a few people in our network, in our family network, that don't understand self-employment, and they're very good and support us, but they think a real job is being employed and paid. And, paid money.
Yeah. When are you going to stop doing that and get a proper career?
Yeah, that's the one. So, we've done that, and there was always a plan I would join the team. It just happened a lot quicker than we were expecting. So at Christmas, Ben said, I need your help now. And I went, all right then. And January, I came on board officially, and that's it. We joined the FSB in January. We had one meeting, and at that meeting went, yep, we're in. And now we're working alongside the FSB and hoping to create content for them. And we've just grown, and we are an extension of your team, hence the name, Your Video Team.
Right. So you're not necessarily it's not always about marketing content then, is it? Because I think very often that's how people think of videoing. When you're getting somebody in to do videoing, you're getting them in to produce content for marketing. Whereas you're actually sort of doing it's a lot more rounded than that, isn't it? It can be to support what they're doing, what a business is doing internally, as well as their external view. So people think, like you say, immediately they think of a video, think of an advert they see on TV. And we can do that, and we can do your TikToks and your Reels and all of that. And we love those and enjoy them because they vary all the time. But actually, your business needs video content that it relies on. And what we call those are our evergreen assets. And that comes from a great author, John Lambert, who we've read his books, or Ben's read all his books, and I'm audibly listening to them all now. And he talks about evergreen assets. And what we say is that first video that people find you on, that one on your website that tells everybody who you are, what you do and why you do it, is a little seed that is planted in their brains. And then what you do is you nurture that and grow that. And that will stay, that same video, for potentially 5, 6, 7 years. So you've only ever paid for that once. But what it returns to you is so much more, because then you might add another video on top of that then dives into a specific area of your company, or a team member, meet the team. How-to videos, give those little tasters as to this is what we can do for you. Problem-solving videos. And you see, now you're going into my next question now, aren't you?
I get excited.
No, actually, let's do that now. Let's expand on just some of those things that you've been talking about, the different types of videos that you can do. So you've got how-to videos.
Yep. So they're anything from your how to use a product, how to use your service, how you can. It's that teaching your client base.
So typically, how long would a video be, or does that really depend on the type of on what you're creating it for?
Yeah, it all depends on what your message is that you want to get across and what you want that to return. So is it a monetary return? You want to get a sale from it? Is it a return on followers? Is it a return on investors? And all of those things will cause you to differentiate on how long the video is, what the message is, what branding you attach to it. And there's so many different elements of a video that need to be pre-planned, really.
So the starting point is your objective. It's the intention behind the video and what you actually want to happen as a key outcome.
Absolutely. We will never film a video if we don't know your marketing strategy, your business plan, and your branding. If we don't know those three things, we can't create you a video that's going to work. We could create you a video and it'll look great.
You're going to ask this about the Women in Business Big Show then, aren't you, at some point?
No, those emails might be there.
I just waft around a lot. We've got some people talking.
That's it. You're like, it has big red lips on it. Yeah, but where are those lips? Like, you need to send them to us so I can stick it on all your videos. Pull that face. That's the face for radio.
It is.
The camera's here.
Oh dear. Can we edit that bit out? Now I know how people feel. Well, I say, no, it's all live. It's just going out.
The irony is not lost on us.
Oh, no, it'll all be fine. Okay, so if we think about marketing videos.
Yeah.
What are the different types of marketing videos that you can potentially have created for you?
Any video is a marketing video.
Oh.
It's about how you spin it, what platform you're putting it on, and who you're reaching to. So how-to videos are going to be great for people who think they can do it themselves and could do it themselves, but actually, and they're going to try it because they're not sure if they need to invest in something yet. So they go, oh, okay, I can do that. I'm going to try and do this. This is how I do it. And they learn that, and they either succeed and great, or they go, do you know what, that was time consuming. It hasn't given me the end result I need. I'm going to go to the expert who's just told me how I should be doing it. So those sorts of videos, it's become a marketing video. You've got the straight up sales videos. This is a product we have. This is what we sell. This is why you need it. And even you meet the teams. They are marketing videos. You could meet me. You listen to us, watch us. And you turn around and go, oh my God, like she drones on. She's too lively for me. I cannot. And I've lost a sale because I'm not their personality. Whereas actually other people go, do you know what? That woman, she talks about Lego all the time, her family all the time. And I want to find a way to work with her because I just love her ethos and her goals and everything like that. So every video is a marketing video.
People invest in people.
Yeah.
Every second.
And everything is a press release.
Absolutely.
I remember you saying that to me, actually, and I still remember that. Everything is a press release. Yeah,
and that's why we're delighted to have your video team as FSB members, because producing video content is so important. You can do 100 things right, but that 101st thing, a video, you do it on your phone, your eyes are looking all over the place, it just ruins everything. And that lasts. And the number of videos that I see on LinkedIn of people just talking into their phone, for me, as a punter, it's not good. I would never advise people to do that. I mean, I advise people to go to your video team and get it done professionally and properly because, again, you've said exactly what businesses should be thinking. They shouldn't just rush into a video because they've got to have a story, a narrative, a business plan, and a strategy.
Aren't there times when the impromptu, here I am, let's do a video, is the right way to go? And then there are other things where perhaps you may be showcasing a product where you would have something more organised, more structured, more planned.
I think it's personal taste. We have this discussion internally all the time, and I think if you're going to do it, if you're representing a brand, you have to get the best for it. So if you're okay with that, fine. But as someone who looks at these things, I wouldn't encourage people to rush in with video if you're just doing it on a phone. You know, if you're doing it on a phone, get a tripod, speak to your video team about it, because I bet you've got some tips for people who do insist on phones.
We're going to get to that in a minute. But I just want to expand that thing that you said about everything's a press release, because you said that a little while ago, and I thought, every email you send, everything you send is potentially, every WhatsApp message is a press release. It could go beyond where you are.
Yeah.
And get out and totally misrepresent what you think. And I think it's a responsibility that we have to ourselves and other people in business when we're in business, is to not just send those comments out and not think about them. And I think having that in the back of your head, everything's a press release, I think that's a super tip. Really, really brilliant. And a nice little sort of nugget.
If and to follow on from that, if you're thinking of any sort of communication and there is a slight sense of hesitation, don't. Unless you are absolutely 110% satisfied and sure that it fits in with, as what Rachael said, your business plan, your strategy, your branding, your vision and your story, then go for it. But if there's that tiny lingering bit of doubt there, don't, because then that will ripple down the line.
But what struck me about it was the context. This wasn't about something that is going to be obviously public, that is going out there, that's being created as a piece of public content to be circulated as that. But actually, when you're just sending off that simple email, that simple WhatsApp message, whatever it is, and sometimes those are the things that we just don't think about. We just send something off. It could be that we're saying, oh, that person, whatever, but everything can get out there and everything can come back.
I've just been...
So now that we're all paranoid...
strategically slid a note to say every successful video is planned, even if they look ad hoc. So even those ones that you think, they've just picked up that camera and winged it, they likely haven't. They've thought about it, structured it.
This is why I don't do it. You will very, very rarely see me produce videos of myself that I've taken myself to go out. It's because I can't plan anything. I don't plan anything. I just, not properly anyway. I just sort of get up and I do stuff.
I agree with everything that Tim has said. The only thing I might slightly differ on is that striving for perfection will stop you from starting. We strive for perfection in creating a podcast for so long that we've 3 years down the line, and even in our past video companies, never actually did it. And then we listened to loads of people talk about it and where to start, and we just went, oh, do you know, let's just do it. Let's start. And honest, if you listen to episode 1, which we're 3 weeks in, so we're very new to podcasting still. Week 1, wrong mics, didn't have proper microphones. But don't let that stop you. That's a great learning opportunity. And I think you often say there's no such thing as failure.
No, I don't.
No. We didn't fail that podcast. We just fluffed a little bit and went, oh, well, different mics next time, and learned from that. And episode 2, different mics. Episode 3, we're in a completely different environment.
Sometimes you just have to stand up and do it. But I don't say there's no such thing as failure. I say there is such a thing as failure. I get fed up with people going, no, there isn't anything, there is no failure. There is, anyway, don't get me started.
Yeah. Failing is a part of learning.
Yes.
It's failing, but learning from it.
And if you don't learn from it, then you have failed.
But I think if you never fail, you haven't set a target, or you haven't missed anything,
or you haven't done anything.
Yeah, or you haven't done anything. And sometimes you just have to go, actually, I said I wanted to get that amount and I did not. That's a failure. You can learn from it, but you still failed, and you have to acknowledge that. But anyway, don't get me started. Don't even start. And don't even get me started on positive thinking. Stop it. Right. Okay. Reel it back in. So 5. You're going to do your own videos. Let's assume you're going to do your own videos. You don't have the resources, or you're just determined that you're going to just do it. So, Rachel, what are 5 tips for people who are going to actually do their own videos?
So if you are doing your own videos with your camera, your iPhone or your Android, whichever phone you've got, the very first thing we would say is use the back camera. Do not look at yourself. Because the moment you're looking at yourself, you're taking away your interest from the audience you're talking to.
Okay, I don't even know what you're talking about. Hang on. And
It's the side with the light on.
Right. Hey, I'm going to have to get. I have got quite a posh. I've overreached myself.
Okay.
I have got technology that is beyond my capabilities. So. Okay, so you use the back camera. So to my mind, if I can't see myself, I'm not recording myself. Are you saying put it on a tripod and turn it round? Or?
No, I'm saying put it on that. I am saying put it on a tripod. You're running into my next thing now.
Okay, I tell you what we'll do. Let's just say what the technical stuff is, and then me and everybody else who has no idea what you're talking about can go and look it up. So you use the back camera.
Use the back camera.
Hang on. Yeah, I'll pop into Apple up at Blue Water, and I'll go, Rachael from your video team said I have to use the back camera.
Absolutely.
That doesn't sound okay, does it?
This has got the makings of a video, you know.
Yeah, how-to video.
Use the back camera. I've even written it down.
It's got high quality, wider angle, and like I say, you don't look at yourself.
And do you know, that was one of the things that I hated about doing Zoom, and still do, is looking at my own nostrils.
Yeah.
I'm just sick to death of it. So, okay, so you're not looking at yourself.
No, you're looking at that lens, and you're talking to the people the other side, those people you want to get that message to.
So you're sort of looking over, as opposed to into the thing. Right, oh, okay.
Tripod. You need a tripod because that's going to stop that camera shaking, stop that sort of, it's distracting for people. They sort of get caught up in the movement, and it's going to put the action in the frame as well. It's going to allow you to step back a bit. This whole arm's length thing, it is great for your selfies and things like that, but be in it, be visual, all of you. When I hold my camera as a selfie mode, even with the back camera, I can't see my logo and my brand.
Okay.
Can't see what's going on.
Yeah, it's mainly the pores around your nose, isn't it?
Yeah,
that you're sort of looking at.
You know? And also it negates that risk of you not like only capturing half your face and that, because you're able to stand it up, take a couple of steps back, be in frame. Use window lights to light you. So go and stand by the window. Make sure you're looking at the window or you're side stood. Don't stand in front of it and film you because you'll just be a silhouette.
Yeah.
So use the natural lighting that you've got around you. If it's a beautiful day, get out in the sunshine, but in a weird way, stand in the shadow. Sounds really backward, but by having that over glare of the sun on you, it will then cause
So you
issues
don't
with
get one of those ring lights?
You can do those. Obviously, they're going to light up very specifically your face or a product. They're very good for sort of products and things like that.
Okay.
And the sun is free.
The sun is free, Ben says.
So
Don't give them ideas.
The sun is free. It's a free
Yes.
For now.
Yeah, okay, but it does mean you have to go outside, doesn't it?
If you stand in front of the window.
Ah, yes, no, I suppose so. Sorry, we're just Ben's videoing in the corner. I've just turned his mic up so that we can hear him. So he's saying the sun is free. That's a very, very good point. I'm going to turn your mic down now so that we can't hear every movement. Okay.
Nodding along. Yes. A lapel mic is great, and you can actually get these that would plug into your overly ambitious iPhone, and and you can plug them in and wired or Bluetooth, and they're going to record the sound really clearly. So if you do take that moment where, you could be stood on the other side of a networking room, be filming on your wide camera angle with your phone, sat at your place, and the sound is picking you up perfectly because you've got a mic that's right on your lapel of your outfit. But the shot you've got is of the whole room networking. And all of a sudden, everyone's like, wow. But it sounds like you're right there next to the camera.
That's a super tip. What about if you were interviewing somebody else at the same time? So if you're interviewing somebody.
Yep, so you could have, I suppose it depends on how you're structuring it, how much editing you are putting in behind it. Ben would have to pipe up if you can get two lapels that go to the same phone and pick up on that.
Yeah, you can get Bluetooth transmitters that you can clip on two people and it will go to one transmitter, which you'll just place directly in your phone. Or get an external recorder if you want to.
I'm glad we invited you.
Yes, we definitely have different roles within the business. Ben's is technical. Mine is...
Yours is people, the what's going on behind.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm the relationships.
Got you.
And then our final tip was shoot landscape. So everyone who holds that phone up in that portrait view that we've all been taught to do is great, but actually turn it the other way, because you can actually now edit that to be a landscape view or be a portrait view.
Totally confused now.
To go long ways. Have a vast array of sighting, because actually when you put it on your Instagram or your LinkedIn, you can crop in to make it a portrait view, and you can get that content. So it still has the formatting that you want, but you've actually, for things like YouTube, because every video needs to be spread across every platform. You don't just have one platform. So now YouTube loves a horizontal. I'm getting confused now. YouTube loves a horizontal. LinkedIn is great for portrait as well as Instagram. So use it that way. Edit it.
I tell you what, you may well see some of these tips coming out in the next few weeks, because we do want to start videoing this for YouTube, because we do have a YouTube channel, but we don't really do anything with it. The shows are published on it, and that's it really. There isn't any video. So we might start videoing it, doing a little sort of before and after. And
well, here's a question for you. What is the second most used search engine?
Can I answer if I know?
Yeah, YouTube.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was doing it to emphasise your point. Don't look so surprised.
I'm not used to being questioned. Thinking, hang on a minute. Yes, YouTube.
Yeah, we use it for so many different things. I'm forever, if Ben's not around and I'm like, oh, how do I Photoshop this to make it with a background?
And so do I.
So, yeah, YouTube. In a technique we were taught recently was your titles need to be the question that someone is asking. So when you put
an excellent tip.
Guess who's going on top of that leaderboard? Like you are, because you've literally written the question that they've asked.
Excuse me a moment, I'm just making a note.
Yeah.
That is an excellent tip, and it's once you've said it, it's actually quite obvious.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No. I went, we always write the answer to that question. But everyone's got that answer. So you're now thrown in the mix of thousands, millions of other answers. How many people ask the question? It's going to be millions now because we've obviously aired the answers.
And you can head over to Answer the Public, which is a really good little tool for looking at the questions that people are asking around your topic.
Oh, I like that. I can see nodding in my peripheral.
You can get a certain amount of it free. I don't think it's many. I think it may be 2 or 3 searches a day. And then after that, you need to pay. But it's excellent. So you can go over, you can put your basic topic in, and it will give you the questions that people are asking around it. And so you can then, of course, now go and answer those questions as part of your content creation.
I'll tell you another one, and this will divide opinions, I'm sure. But if you ask ChatGPT, it will do the same thing.
Okay, hang on a minute. I'm sort of. I don't think we should
controversial.
No, I don't.
Skynet are coming to get us all.
Hang on a minute. I don't think we should get into that now because I think it would be going on forever. But I'm not scared. No. I'm a writer, and it doesn't bother me. No, because nobody. I write as my stuff. ChatGPT or Jasper or whatever, it doesn't have my opinion.
No.
It may have facts, it can may be able to write in my voice, but it will never have my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. We're back to people by people and personality.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't happen.
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't admit to using it at all. I mean, that would just be awful, wouldn't it? I mean, can you imagine?
We'll edit that video as well.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's a tool.
Yeah. And it's about, I think we all have to...
It's a tool.
We were all scared of the internet when it first came out. And look at us now.
Yeah.
Without it.
I mean, I'm sure, there are all sorts of people who are saying it's Skynet, terrible things are going to happen. And I don't know, I may be lying.
That's said with tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
I think everyone's overhyping it.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. And I may, I may be with egg on my face if in a year's time I'm lying in a pile of rubble and there are like Terminators walking around all over me.
You look nothing like Sarah Connor. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I also don't go outside, so that will help.
But it goes back to the point that it won't overtake the overriding business principle of people invest in people.
No, it won't. It cannot. I can use it to create articles about a topic that I may then need to go in and humanise a bit, but it can't give my opinion about something. It just can't.
No.
It can't give my take on it.
Rachel, do you see it creating video content on its own in the future?
Yeah.
So you can go into one of these programs.
I think it's doing that now.
Is it doing it now?
Yeah, it's
doing it
the
now.
photos are definitely there. The images are there, and I give it less than a year and we'll have videos.
I tell you what, the images are just wow.
Oh, they're spectacular.
Just wow. I use Jasper. And I create images to illustrate some of the stuff that I'm doing at events. And they're unbelievable. Sometimes an image will pop up and it takes my breath away. It's so stunning.
Yeah.
It takes my breath away.
Is that going to help your business?
I think it can help every business. Yeah. It's about adding an element and giving you back time.
Yes.
We are all arguing, saying our time is money and things like that. And it absolutely is. And what's your passion? Like, Ben's passion is being the person behind the camera, directing. But having him have to sit there and write blogs or create artwork for things then takes him away from what he wants to do within the business. So, great, I've got these tools now, so I don't need him to do that for me. I can do that myself. Now you've got this job, this job, this job, go film it for me. Do what you love.
Yeah.
So find why are you in your business or why within your role. It's not even just being about the business owner. Why are you within the role you're in? What is it you love about that role? Do that role. And everything else, outsource.
Yeah. And for me, that level of AI is outsourcing. You know, if an article needs to be written about something that's actually sort of quite boring, just get that to write it. I mean, you have to do fact checking. You can't just let it spew out a pile of old stuff. So it's not as though there is no human input or skill or interpretation or anything behind it. You have to change it. You have to skew it. It's not quite as simple as just, it splats out some stuff and off you go. There is a level of skill behind it as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing to remember is that the information that they're taking from isn't current.
No, it's about 2 years out of date, I think
it's about, yes, it is. I can't remember if it's 2019 or 2021, I can't remember. But if you put something in that says, tell me about what happened last week, or they'll say, I can't, I can only pull information. No.
Yeah. So like you say, you can get that baseline knowledge, understanding, and then it's giving you that starting point to go, I need to now go and search this about this and find out if it's changed in the last 2, 3, 4 years.
But, I think we have to embrace them. It's no good, sort of throwing all our toys out the pram because it's happened. It's happened, it's here. But to my mind, let's embrace it. Let's use it where it's appropriate. Leave it alone where it's not appropriate for your business, and pretending it doesn't exist and just moaning about it and posting loads of stuff on Twitter isn't actually going to make it. It's not going to change the situation, is it?
I honestly believe if you fight it, you will fail. You will lose
because you're not. This is something that we can embrace for our businesses.
Yeah.
It is creative disruption, to coin the phrase.
There we go. Yes.
I've heard that.
Yes. Okay, so I just want to go on to one more little topic before we go over and do our quick fire round. Let's assume that it is time for your business to employ a professional to come in and do some videos. Have you got any tips about that, about what people should be asking of themselves, or they should be asking of the prospective video people? Video people.
Yep.
What? No, it's a professional show. What sort of things should they be asking? Because it can be a really expensive mistake, and also the end result is quite subjective. So it could be, you can spend a lot of money, and then you get to the end and you go, I don't like that. But on what basis are you going to get your refund, or how's that going to happen? It's not. So you need to, and it's also a lot of time. It's not just what you've paid, but it's also a lot of time. So how do you get it right? How do you get the right people for your business?
So the first thing you need to do is ask yourself a few questions. So do I know what I want my video to do for me? Do I know where I want it to go? And what allocated spend have I got? And I say that because I'm not a fan of the word budget. It just sounds cheap. Everyone who's working on a budget is restricted. If you allocate expenditure to it, that's what I'm willing to pay now, and that will grow as you prove your service is worth it to me. So those things you need to know and sit before you even approach a videographer. So if you know those and you have that in mind, then go and talk to people, multiple videographers. Don't come to us. I'm always up for a coffee and a chat via Zoom or Meet. So I like human interaction too, rarely, but sometimes. And ask all those questions. What will you bring? And ask, what are you guaranteeing me out of my video? And how do I pick their brains? How do I get the best out of the video you're going to create for me? Understand your videographers' personalities, because, like I said earlier, I like to think we're very fun and a bit out there, and we think outside the box. But if you want control, you might want someone who listens to your ideas and goes, "This is it. This is what you wanted."
Okay.
If you want to understand both ways, because you know what you want from your video, and you know what you want the desired results, but you don't know how to do that with your video, then we might be able to bring more ideas to the table of saying, try this. It's a bit, like I say, disruptive. Other companies aren't doing it. Let's think outside the box. Let's rattle some cages and do that, because it will get you seen and it will get you out there. And then it's about playing on that a bit further.
How involved are the clients in the editing stage? Do they approach you with a script or a broad outline? Do they say, well, I didn't like it like that, change that? I mean, how you obviously got to tell them you're not going to come and micromanage us. There's got to be an element of faith in this relationship. How do you manage that?
So we will sit down and have a full planning session beforehand, really understanding their goal of their video, what they want it to show, what they want it to do. Depending on the type of video, we will plan a day with them and go, right, let's try and get as much content as we can in as many varieties of a way we can, so that way it gives us all these different options when we are editing it, that we can create different versions of the same story. And then we'll offer a snippet of the variety. So we've done it this way, or we've done it this way, or we've done it this way. Which one do you like? And then that way they can go, oh, I like that, and a bit of this one. Can you amalgamate those together? And then we'll create a video from that, send that across as a rough edit. And that rough edit will be, as it sounds, it is really rough. It's literally the story. This is what you wanted it to tell. And they go, yeah, I like that. Then we'll go away and we'll do all what's called the colorization. So we'll make sure that everything is fluid, that you're not having dark moments, light moments, and things like that. We'll clear up all the ums and ahs, and when your conversation is natural, but actually...
It's a good job you're not doing it on here, isn't it?
How long would this show be?
Like a 3-week job.
You're doing very few ums and ahs.
We'd end up with like a 5-minute snippet. We couldn't even go, hello, welcome to the Women in Business radio show, because there'd be some giggling somewhere. Or...
So yeah, we sort of cut out all the thinking moments and things like that. Really sort of get that message really tight, clear, consistent. Subtitles, branding, all of that. Send that across. See, that's it. I say that's almost the final edit. We allow them sort of another opportunity to say, okay, love that. Can we just tweak this a little bit, tweak that a little bit? Yeah, perfect.
So what I'm getting from this is that one of the things that you perhaps need to discuss with your prospective I want to call them a contractor, but those are people who build extensions. What?
Client.
No, I'm the client. I'm discussing it. I'm discussing it with the videographers. Is actually what the editing process is, isn't it? So at what point can you have input? At what point can you make changes? How many changes can you make?
Yep.
Because otherwise it just goes on forever and ever and ever. I mean, I know from us with sort of dealing with websites, we have to sort of say, this is what can happen. Otherwise, you could be changing, tweaking little things as people are changing their minds, and they're showing it to loads of other people who are going, oh no, I think we'll have it, oh no, can you do it like that? And it's a never-ending process, isn't it?
Yeah.
But as the client, you want to have some input, and rather than just be delivered, there it is. So ask what the process is. Hang on a minute. We've got Ben on pink. Come in, Ben.
Hello. So what we tend to do is more. So where Rachael says about the rough cut, that's to make sure that we've understood the message they want to get across, like the story that they want to give in the video. So we send that over, and that's their main chance to go, no, you've got the message totally wrong, you need to change it, or yes, you're going the right way, but we need to add this sort of information to it. And if they come back saying, no, it's totally wrong, I'll rework the whole thing and send it again as a rough cut and go, is this the right message? But hopefully in the pre-planning stage, they've kind of put across to us what the message is they want to get across. And that makes the whole editing process easier because we planned it correctly. Where if you go and go, let's wing it on the day and see what happens, that's where it can get a bit lost and the message that I think they want, or Rachael says that they want, is the wrong message. And then they go, no, it's not worked.
So what I'm getting from this is that this is very much a dialogue, and it's a dialogue from start to finish where there's a two-way conversation. And so if you're sat with somebody where you're getting the impression that it's very much, okay, well, we're going to come in and we're going to do this recording and then we're going to go away and edit it and then we'll send you the final result, that this may not be the person for you.
No. And that planning period, if they're saying to you, oh, we'll have a quick one-to-one for half an hour, and then we can create from that, I can get, that's not enough time. We need to understand you, your brand, everything that you're trying to get across.
I'll tell you what it sounds to me like. It's a little bit like the difference between a logo and your branding.
Yeah.
And sometimes people they think that the logo is the branding and the logo is a picture.
Yeah.
That comes after the whole of the branding exercise. And so if you're not careful, you go in to create a video as content or whatever it is, and what you end up with is a video logo, as opposed to, does this make sense? I'll make it up just out of my head. But you end up with the equivalent of a video logo where somebody's picked some colours and a thing off Canva and gone, well, there you go, that sort of looks like you. As opposed to actually coming up with something that represents you and your brand. And your brand, it's not about being Coca-Cola, it's about, I have a brand. Everybody that's in business, everybody that's employed, we all have a personal brand, don't we?
Yes.
And so it's the difference between getting your brand and a thing, a ditty.
Yeah, and every video, really, you should be able to splice up and use different elements of that video to, it might be then to create your TikToks and your small things. So there's mini content within a longer video, but also that video can be expanded on as well. That video is one stepping stone in your story. So again, if a video just tells that, and then that's it, well, where are you going from that? And people just get stumped. And as an external client of that person, I go, oh, that's all they do. Whereas talking within your video, you're almost advertising other elements of your business. Oh, now I'm hooked. Now I want to know what else you do. Now what other products you've got, because I saw that in the background, or I saw that you discussed a bit about that, but you just teased me. And it's those little things that can keep that elaboration and that. And videographers, good videography companies and agencies should know how to. So basically, when you're looking to make a choice, you should be having a conversation that's actually quite similar to the conversation that we're having now, where people are talking about the different ways that you can use it, the different ways it can be cut up, the different ways it can be edited, the different purposes, and it should be quite a rounded conversation where you're part of the editorial process. Yes.
And not just having something, here's the final thing, we've recorded it, we've topped and tailed it, and here's the final thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I think hang on, Ben on pink.
A red flag for us is when somebody comes up to us and says, what do you think, you're the video expert? Yes, we are video experts, but what we don't know is your company. We don't know your brand, we don't know your message. So we can come up with those ideas, like you say, through this conversation, but ultimately it's got to fit in, like you say, with their brand, with their message, with their ethos. And we can't just guess that from turning up and filming on a day, because we don't know. So cybersecurity, as a videographer, I don't fully understand it. It goes well above my head. It's not my technical mind kind of stuff. So I can't say whether the message I've created is correct. And that's what they try to educate me on beforehand, during, and as I'm going.
Yeah. So this isn't, you can't just sort of throw this over to somebody and expect them to know what to do. It very much has to be part of a team. So, hence the name Your Video Team. That sounds like I've made, it sounds really naff, doesn't it?
Full circle.
But yes, so that really is how you've come up with the name, and that's what it's about. There's one other thing I just want to touch on. Ben, I'm just going to turn you off because it gets a bit hissy. But I'll know if you put your hand up. I'll know we can turn the mic up again. And I may be totally wrong in this, but I was involved in a panel discussion where we were helping somebody who was a business startup. And the question that they brought to the table was about where and who should do their video and when they should get it done. The video was going to cost them about £4,000. And the general consensus of opinion was, oh, yes, no, go and do this, go and do that, get so-and-so to do it and whatever. And I said to her, OK, have you sold anything? Actually sold any of your product? She went, no. I said, have you got any terms and conditions? Have you got a contract in place if somebody wants to buy what you sell. So it wasn't a product as in a can of beans.
Yeah.
It was a service, and it was quite an in-depth service. Have you got any terms and conditions in place? Have you got contracts? So if somebody came to you and said, okay, I want to buy, are you actually ready to sell? Yeah. She went, no, not really. I said, well, to my mind, you shouldn't be investing £4,000 in a video. You should be going and getting your terms and conditions sorted out. You should be getting your sales process sorted out, and you should have your contract or your working arrangement. You should be ready to take on your own client, and you should actually have some clients that have already gone through your sales and delivery process before you invest £4,000 in a video to promote your business, because you're not ready to sell anything. And everybody went, and I still think that I was right.
I agree with you. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you have to be right for that video. You have to be right to do that, to make that investment.
And that's why we ask to not see, we're not, we haven't got a big red pen and we're going to go, that's wrong. And on your marketing and your strategy and your branding and your business plan and all those, that's why we like to know that they're all in place. So that, because she could go and get that £4,000 video and it could do wonders for her business, and she has 100 clients call her, and now she's failed because
she can't sell anything. She's got no terms and conditions. She's got no contract, and you needed one. She wasn't selling handbags. She was selling stuff where you needed to have a contract. There needed to be an arrangement.
But even if it was a product and she sells 100 of those, she's only got 2 in the back office.
But if you don't have a returns policy, and you don't know how you're going to post them out, or how you're going to do anything, or how you're going to get any more made, and this video is going to last her for a year. It's going to be cut up into different pieces, and exactly sort of what you said. And I thought, well, but now what? Yeah. If somebody picks the phone up after seeing and goes, okay, I'm ready to go, she's not.
No, and that's why we have such big discussions. And like, we had a meeting this morning, and I said we gave her a monthly retainer price because it's a service we offer, and she wobbled, and we said, but not yet. You're not ready for us yet.
Yeah.
But we'll keep communicating. We'll give you some tips and hints and things like that. Yeah. And let's keep talking, because then we'll know when we're ready together. And it's already she's like, oh, I feel no pressure. Yeah,
and she feels sort of safe, and she can come back and go, okay, well, this is where I am now, and trust that when the time is right, that you will be honest. Yeah. Because you already have been. And sometimes I think one of the best things that you can do is actually say, this isn't right for you at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than try and grapple with everybody and get it in. Now, look, we're coming to the top of the hour. And what I'm actually going to do, because it's my show and I can do that, is I'm going to continue us for a few more minutes. I'm going to take us a little bit beyond the hour. So if you're listening in and you're used to the show ending in an hour, we're just going to carry on for another couple of minutes. But I think it's going to be really, really interesting, because we are going to do our quick fire round. And Tim's looking far too comfortable over there. So I'm going to be involving him in it as well. But before we do that, can you give out details of how people can contact you? And I'm also going to ask you to do that as well, Tim, so that people who are interested in joining the FSB, want to find out some more, can contact you. But Rachel, how can people contact your video team?
So to contact us, I would say I'm the best person to come to. So you can drop me an email at account manager, that's ACCOUNTMANAGER, at yourvideoteam.co.uk. You can find us on Instagram. We are YVT_UK. Classically, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook. I believe there's even a Twitter account.
So if you'd have filled the form in, we'd know, wouldn't we?
Maybe. I just got too excited to be here, and I was like, yes.
Oh, don't give me that.
All right, then. I filled in the one for the big show twice. I don't know.
No, you didn't. There's something you need to know. I know everything. Okay. I have back office systems that know everything.
I don't get it. I need those. I need those systems on mine. I can catch people out like this. So yeah, you can find us.
Tim, how can people contact you?
You can go to the Federation of Small Businesses website, If you are in Kent, you can contact me. My email address is tim.aker, A-K-E-R, @fsb.org.uk. You can find me on LinkedIn. We've got development managers up and down the country, so get in contact with your local development manager. If you want to join the FSB, again, contact me and I can put you in touch with Jane Martin, our membership advisor. If you want to go cut out the middleman and go to her direct, it's jane.martin@fsb.org.uk, and you can enjoy all the member benefits that your video team have experienced as being FSB members. How have you found it?
Incredible. We've rinsed you for your membership already. I think we did that within the first month. We're just signing up to the free banking. There's just things on there you just think, why wouldn't I do this? Yeah, our membership's paid for itself multiple times over, and I've just won in the competition as well. So bring on the hamper that's on my
there we go.
I know, it's amazing. Joined, got shortlisted as finalist in the FSB Awards. And is now on winning hampers.
Oh, yeah, cheese and wine. I don't know. Anyway,
these things come in threes.
I'm not dwelling on that because I'm just jealous. So let's have a little bit of a quick fire round, shall we? So, what should we start off with? I think we'll start off with, what are you either reading or listening to at the moment?
So I'm listening to John Lambert's one of his books. Which one? Big Ideas for Small Businesses.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, loving that. It's just changing mindset of how you approach your business and what you want your business to give back to you. So I have that one. I listen to Mel Robbins.
Oh yes, yes.
Love her. Truly believe she saved my life. So she is incredible, and I've got her podcast and I've listened to her books, The 5-Second Rule and things like that. Am I listening to anything else? Well, I listen to our podcast, and I'm also listening to a lot of the Women in Business radio show. I'm backdating all of those as well. So.
Super, lovely.
Yeah.
Tim, what are you reading or listening to at the moment? It doesn't have to be anything profound or businessy. It could be a storybook.
Well, it's not. I mean, I'm mostly proofreading my doctoral chapters that I've got in draft form and rewriting and tearing up and starting again. I don't really have that much time for anything outside of work and the doctorate and other things as well. So
you see, if you listened to podcasts or audiobooks, you'd be able to do stuff whilst you're doing the washing up.
No, I can't. I prefer reading with a book. Kindles, audiobooks, and all that.
I like reading with a book as well. I love to have a proper book, but I tell you what, you cannot beat an audiobook. You just can't. Sorry.
Well, I can.
Yes, you can. Right, okay, so...
although, just for you, if I, touch wood, I do get the PhD and it does turn into a book, I'll see if it's turned into an audiobook just for you.
There we go. Thank you so much. What have you learnt this week?
Oh, Lord. I feel like... goal setting. Future planning. That's what we have learnt, actually, about ourselves, is what we want for our future. And we've set ourselves our 10-year plan.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And we're ambitious, which I've always known. I just didn't realise quite how ambitious. So, yeah.
Tim, what have you learnt this week?
I think I've forgotten more this week than what I've learned.
Have you learnt to write things down, maybe, so that you don't forget them?
I would if I had a pen on me.
Is that it? Are we done?
We are done. Next question.
Okay, so what is your biggest failure?
I joined the police and I failed. After 6 years, I left. And I see it as a failure. I beat myself up for quite a period of time for it. But I learned a lot from it, and I learned a lot about myself. And from the police, I don't regret failing it. I think what an incredible thing to have done, and where I am now, I wouldn't be, because I'd still be stuck in that job. But I failed at my 35-year career that I thought would pay my pension and give me the perfect life.
Well, perhaps you were meant to.
Yes.
And we'll carry on with you now, because I want to know, what's your superpower?
Talking and being the relationships, the conversation. I love a good conversation, and you don't shut me up easily. I'm really having to hold my tongue quite a bit to remember to let you actually ask me questions.
No, that's okay. You can carry on. I can deal with you. It's fine. It's fine. I've climbed over the desk before. It won't be a problem. Tim,
Go on, just a minute. No hesitation, repetition, or deviation.
Tim, what's your biggest failure?
We had this discussion before. I don't consider them failures because it's all a part of the learning experience.
You do know that's a test, don't you? I put that in there. It's a test in my questionnaire. Is what's your biggest failure? And I wait to see who puts. I don't believe there's any failure. Come on, something must have gone wrong.
God, where to start? I mean, I forgot Ben's name when he walked in. I met him
there you go.
already.
I'll tell you what. We'll go with that.
It's been a 3 weeks of just blunder after nincompooperi and all sorts of nonsense. Waiting for it to end. When will it end, Sean? When will it end? Come on, Skynet. We're waiting.
I might have to take that word.
I'll tell you where Sarah Connor is.
What's your superpower?
The awkward silence.
Do you want me to tell you?
I have absolutely no idea.
Right, okay. Then that's what you need. That's your homework. Okay? You must have a superpower.
Well, if I end up scalding myself because of this, I'm going to blame you.
No,
it's not walking on fire.
You will have a superpower.
Modesty, there you go. I couldn't possibly say what superpower I've got.
You need to know your superpower. Okay, what's your have you got a top tip, a tool or a technique or something that you use that could help with a productivity tip? Anything that you use, it can be a piece of software that you find useful.
I'm a big fan of the Adobe suites and things like that. So,
do you know, we've not had that before. No. You can come back.
Thanks. I am very much, like I say, I'm not the technical wizard in our sort of category and of our people. However, I can make my way around Photoshop and little bits like that. And like I say, a bit of YouTube planning and how do I do this? Anyone can do it. So Adobe is a great tool to use.
And I think it makes access to those sort of creativity tools that used to be the domain of professionals, where you could only do this if you'd done sort of 3 or 4 year training in it. Now it sort of makes it accessible, but it's not easy, is it? It's not, you can't. There is a big steep learning curve here, and I think you have to make a decision. I always use the analogy of a car mechanic.
Yeah,
you may be able to change the oil, but when it comes to changing the gearbox, you've got to make a decision. Am I the mechanic or not? And either bring the mechanic in or learn how to do that entire career. Yeah. But it does sort of make it accessible, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Canva is really good for people.
Yes,
a lot of people use that.
Yes.
I feel like Adobe for me is that step up. I've got more control.
But this is what you do professionally. Yes. For people like me, Canva is really good.
Tool. Yeah.
Tim, have you got a productivity tip at all, a technique or something that you use that you find useful?
You need thinking time. Time to think. I put that in the calendar, and if you don't do that, you're not reassessing or evaluating what you're doing.
Do you know that?
Nowadays, everything is busy, rush, target. When actually, you're not looking at your work streams, you're not looking at your methodology, and just taking the time to map out things, to plan and evaluate. If you don't do that, you're just running around in circles.
I'll tell you what, that is another first, and it's absolutely critical. And you have it diarised, do you?
Yeah,
okay. I love that,
because you've got all these emails going off, ping, faceache, Twitter, and all sorts of nonsense invading your thinking space. You just turn it all off and focus, and because then that's the way you prioritise. That's the way you itemise what you're doing and how you get things done.
Well, folks, we are going to round up. So thank you so much to Rachael and Ben from your video team. Thank you so much for what you're doing, how you're supporting the Women in Business Big Show, and also to Tim Aker from the FSB, and how much he has, and this is, I know this sounds creepy. I'm allowed to be creepy. It's my show. Just how much you do for businesses, for my business, for the other businesses that are connected with us through the events that we run. it's all of this sort of thing, actually, that seems quite intangible and you can't count it, but it really, really makes a difference. So I'd like to say thank you very much on a personal note to both of you. And that's it, really. I think I'm lost for words now. Like, I've made myself all emotional. So I'm going to go. I'm Sian Murphy. This is the Women in Business Radio Show, and we will see you all again next week. So thank you very much.
Tune in next week to the Women in Business Radio Show for more stories, ideas, and inspiration to help you grow your business.